Welcome to my Minecraft beginner's guide. This is of course going to be for Minecraft Bedrock edition, so will be applicable to consoles and PC unless you're using Java edition. I'm going to go through everything from the perspective of myself, basically, as a parent of kids, you know, getting into Minecraft. There's a lot to know, a lot of things to learn. We'll go through everything at a fairly decent pace. We're not going to be going too fast. Obviously, first up, we want to be looking at the setup here. So we're going to keep things pretty normal. As you can see, we're going to go on normal difficulty. Hard basically just makes enemies do more damage, so you can die from hunger. But I do like to have it on normal, generally speaking, when I'm playing with the young ones. Moving on to advanced, you may want to tweak this, you may not. One of the most immediate ones that most people are going to want on is show coordinates. I'm going to keep that on as I go. Days played, I guess, is all right if that's something you want to keep track of. I'm not too bothered. Obviously, I want to try and get a lot done on the first day of the game so that I've got you guys set up with some decent stuff so you can go off and exploring without worrying about it too much. As for the rest of it, most of it's self-explanatory, so you guys can do whatever you want with this. Of course, we haven't spoken about the world seed. This is going to affect how your world spawns and the kind of biomes you're going to get, this kind of thing. If there's something specifically you want to start with, you can go ahead and use one of the templates. Don't quite know how people would react to me starting out with a mansion or something like this. You guys can do as you will with this. Instead, I'm going to use a custom seed just because it's a world that me and the family we've been enjoying. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use that for this particular series, which is on screen now. Obviously, I want to talk a little bit right now just so you guys have time to pause the video if you want to write it down. If you want to use the seed that I'm using, let me just double check here. 53881 36788. Yeah, it's not right. Look, 364. Let me correct that. 364774904 is the seed that I want. If it's not a complete numerical seed, it'll just randomize it. So putting letters and stuff in there, as far as I'm aware, doesn't really do anything else for you other than just generate a random seed for you. Multiplayer is going to be on. I will probably at some point have the family in this world because that's kind of just how we play. We play in co-op a lot. Just means I can enslave the kids to help me with prep work, which is great. Experimental. It's worth talking about this villager trade rebalance. This hasn't hit the game yet. We don't know whether or not this is going to end up being in the full release at any point, but this isn't going to affect anything for a long time, and basically makes it so that one of the more overpowered aspects of using villagers, which we'll get into much later on, is not quite as powerful as it is right now. With all of that set, then we're going to go ahead, we're going to press create so we can get into the game world. And whilst I'm not going to go into controls, like I'm not going to say press right trigger to hit tree, I'm going to say let's hit the tree. You guys can find your own controls out on all this kind of thing, right? Hopefully, especially as there are so many different platforms. I really don't know anything about playing this on mobile phone or anything like that, but we want to get a tree broken down first. This should be pretty obvious. It's going to be the first thing you see everybody do in pretty much any Minecraft series, right? There are going to be many guide series on Minecraft, but this one is mine. Now, as soon as you've gotten a tree down, I don't know why I continued hitting this. We want to get into our craft menu. For me, that is Y on the Xbox controller. And you want to get a set of planks built so that we can then build a crafting table. This allows us to unlock more recipes with the trees that we have already gathered. From there, we want to make ourselves a few planks, okay? And we want to have a decent split between planks and sticks, as you can see right here, so that we can make ourselves an axe. From going from a fist to an axe, we are now immediately going to be speeding up how fast we can get these trees cut down. This is a common theme as you will be going through Minecraft. The better the material of the equipment that you're using, the faster the mining is going to be. Now, a drawback of that, as you can see down at the bottom there, we have a almost like health meter on the axe, which shows that it's going down over time as we are using the axe. Now, not only does this make it faster, there are in fact some materials that can only be mined with certain grades of tools. This usually applies to stone or ore type materials, and so generally speaking, upgrading your pickaxe is going to be favorable to upgrading any other tool. Now, as you can see, once we've gotten all of the wood out of these trees, they start disappearing and they're actually going to drop these saplings. Now, we want to make sure that we are planting these, as this is going to allow us to continue growing new trees so that we're able to continue getting wood without going off searching in the distance forever more. Otherwise, you're going to be doing quite a lot of traveling to do what it is you want to do. Now, I'm not intending on staying in this specific starter spot right here, but I am going to spend just a little bit of time getting a setup so that it's a little bit easier for us to explore. Something else that I like to do right at the beginning is just make sure that we've got a few ladders here. I usually like to go about 9 to 12 down, so we want about 10 of those, and make sure you also have a pickaxe, which I've used all of my materials, so I need to go and chop some more trees down, so let's do that. Now, whilst we're on the surface, there is one particular animal we need to keep an eye out for. You can go ahead and you can end a few of them. These are going to drop the meat, which is nice, accessible food early in the game. It ends up being better that we can just farm food later on from crop farms, but for now, we want to be getting animals. But as we're looking around, we want sheep. Ideally, we want to get 3 sheep before nighttime comes, as otherwise enemies are going to be a problem, and having a bed just makes it so that we don't have that kind of problem anymore. There we go, we have our first sheep right here. Now, when it comes to attacking any mob, if you do a jump attack, you'll see that there's stars coming up. That means you're doing increased damage. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to attack it with the axe. I don't think it tells us the damage numbers on here, does it? Oh, it does. So as you can see, the axe does more damage than the shovel, which is why we're going to be doing most of our attacks with the axe for now. We could go ahead and craft a sword. It would do slightly more damage, but it's not really too useful to us. And whilst we are still fairly low on resources, it's actually better to just use the axe for now. All right, so I've got a decent-ish amount of wood, and I usually like to keep about half of it, at least 12 logs. We're going to turn the rest of that into planks, and now we're going to start digging down. So we've got the shovel already. We want a pickaxe. What I'd like to do just next to this, we're going to go ahead, start mining downwards. And with our planks, I'm actually going to craft 2 oak trapdoors. I'm going to put those oak trapdoors in the gap like this. And this is going to make it so that if we don't happen to have a bed, we can now get in here and we don't have to worry about dying. Now, of course, the punishments for dying aren't exactly bad, but I still prefer to just kind of not die if I can. So we're going to go down until we have run out of ladders, basically. Go ahead and get that closed off. Now, as we're going down, as a rule, it's not usually a good idea to stand on the block you are mining. This is because you don't know what's underneath it, and there could be a gap or a cave or anything there, right? So doing it like this is very, very dangerous. You shouldn't do that. But what I'm doing to get around that is standing in the middle of the 2 lines, and then when I mine this one, I don't fall. So I can actually see what's going to be coming next, and I can make my way down like this. All right, so we're going to go down a little bit more. As you can see, this is getting us some cobblestone. It's a very abundant material, but early in the game, it is nice to get it on the go so that we can start upgrading tools already. And then I like to mine out a 5x5 square so that we have something to work with. But for now, I'm just going to put a crafting table down and then head back out. So, because I want to use the last bit of sunlight that we've got, if we have any, see if we can grab some extra sheep. So we've got one more there. And there's one more there. There we go. Bam. So we've got 3 sheep on the first day, which is useful. So we can demonstrate how good that is in a moment. Let's just make sure we've got some other animals going down as well. We've already got a first tree grown, so we go ahead, we can get that gathered. All right then, so you should start seeing, I can't see where the sun is. As the sun goes down, you're going to see that the sky starts getting darker. That means we're getting closer to nighttime. Should be obvious really, but we have to say it. All right, so being as the sun's almost down, what we're going to do is we're going to head down the ladder. I'm going to show you guys a couple of things. The first thing we want to do is we want to get our bed built. That's going to allow us to skip nighttime. I'm going to show you guys why in a second. So we want a space of 2 here. As I said, we're going to dig out a bit of a hole here in a second. But for now, I'm going to put our bed down there. Now, if we interact with this now while it's daytime, you can see it's going to set our respawn point. So now if we do happen to die to some of those monsters, this is where we will come back to, provided that bed doesn't get destroyed. If the bed gets destroyed, then your respawn point can get randomized again. So just be careful of that. My pickaxe, my wooden pickaxe is finally broken. So as you can see here, now that we have the stone in our inventory, we're able to craft better tools. This is going to make it so that we can actually get different ores as well. So now not only can we mine up the stone faster, we can also get new materials, which is cool. In addition, now that we also have that stone, we want to start smelting some stuff. So we're going to build ourselves a furnace. Usually I like to have more than one, but for now, just to show you guys how this is going to be working. So before we split the oak, remember? So I'm actually going to split it again here. We're going to put 9 of this in the top slot. It's important this is the top slot because that's what we are actually going to be smelting effectively in this game. And we're going to put some slabs. Okay, so we made planks. We've turned that into slabs. We're going to put that in there because that gives us a better efficiency in burning. We're going to turn this into charcoal. It's going to allow us to create lights. I'm going to show you guys why by going up here. It's a bit dangerous, but I need to show you guys kind of what's up here right now. So if you come up, you're going to start seeing that we've got monsters. Things are going to start attacking you, which is why we wanted this hole, because now we can close this and we're safe. Even if it's on top of there, it can't really do anything to us. That's all good. And we're far enough down that if we go to sleep, we're able to just have the enemies all go down. We can also go ahead and take this charcoal out here, which is one of the most useful things that we've gotten in the past day. We can now go ahead and you actually don't need to come to a crafting table for this. You can actually just do this straight out of your menu. Craft some torches. Light it up down here. You don't know what monsters spawn down here. Monsters basically are able to spawn wherever it's dark, which also means that if we come up to the top like this and we add ourselves a few torches around our little hole here, we will be able to make it so that they spawn a little bit further away. Now, we have unfortunately got a skeleton with a helmet there, which is pretty bad. Oops. So we want to be careful about that, because once they're not getting hit by the sunlight, they are going to be a little bit more difficult to deal with. And ideally, you need to have a shield to deal with the skeletons. So we're going to go through a little bit of mining in the next episode. So with that all done then, we should now have some charcoal, so we should be able to start making some progress underground. It's a little bit unfortunate that the skeleton is there. If you do want to get rid of it, an easy way to do it without fighting is to run off. And what you should find is that it'll despawn if we get far enough away. So that's what I'm going to try to do right now. So once that's gone, we should find out that we can come over. They're no longer there. Can't spawn in the daytime. It's kind of a bit cheeky, but what you're going to do, it just makes this a little easier. And what I'm going to do is we're going to put a torch under there, so that we don't have that issue again. And there we have it. So you should now be pretty comfortable. We've got charcoal to make some torches with, so you can start exploring in dark areas, not having enemies spawning all over you. And as you might imagine, this meat right here, we can start cooking up this meat, which is what we're going to do. Because cooked meat will actually give you more hunger recovery down at the bottom. You can see right now that I'm not actually healing. Now, we'll only heal on normal mode if we have heightened hunger bar. So if I eat just a raw one, it's not going to give me all that much. But if I go ahead and take this is actually going to take me all the way up to full right here. You won't see this properly. And then my health will now start to regenerate as we wait. So as for now, if you want to do something else between now and the next episode, you can continue this cycle basically of getting some wood, defeating some animals, and then coming on back down and gathering some resources. We are obviously going to go ahead and make a chest. You should want to store your goodies so you don't lose them as you're mining around. And I'll catch you in the next episode where we're going to start looking for some iron.